dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, yeah. Start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes to bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
You're tuned in to Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with the Heartbreak Dude, Denton, and Ryan enjoys wrestling. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. We're here for another WWE Thursday edition, and we are both currently sick. I'm coming off cold, haven't been posting anything, so please bear with me if I randomly stop to start having a coughing fit or maybe throw up all over my desk. We'll see what happens. And yeah, Ryan's having some problems too. So let's see if we can make it, right? We got an hour to get this done. So let's
playing hurt, man.
Let's pray to whoever to make sure we can get this done.
Yeah.
But we got an exciting week. I mean, we had a good SmackDown, a fire SmackDown, I believe. We had probably the best Raw I may have ever seen. We had an NXT episode, and we got some predictions coming up because we have a 2 a.m. my time, 5 a.m. your time Elimination Chamber PLE. So let's get this party started, man. There's no news, right? Nothing really going on other than some Shotzi injuries that we already talked about.
Shotzi's hurt, and that's really it. Just the Shotzi injury. So it looks like a torn ACL, but we'll probably get into that when we talk NXT. But
that is true.
Prayers up to Shotzi.
Yeah, man. And it was random too. She just like fell onto the floor. It was. Man, but that's how ACLs tear all the time. Non-contact injuries, that's how ACLs tear.
They're the worst ones, too.
They are. All right, let's see if I can get through this. Are you ready? SmackDown, 60-second or less review. Let's go. The Rock has arrived, and the show opens with Kevin Owens defeating Dirty Dom to advance to the Chamber. Drew is here for a chat, but LA Knight isn't having it. Bate and Dunn will face Dirty Dom and JD next week. Tiffany Stratton defeats Selena Vega to move on into the Chamber match. The OC and AJ Styles seem to be done. The AOP beat a couple of jobbers. Logan Paul defeats The Miz to also move on to the Chamber. Braun Breaker is going to SmackDown. Naomi defeats Alba Fire. I get that she was an add-in, but we didn't have anybody else to advance to the Chamber, and basically a squash match. Dakota Kai wants protection from Bayley, but Bayley doesn't know who she can trust. The Bloodline has arrived to close the show. Roman announces that The Rock, as a member of the Bloodline, and cue Dwayne, who's rocking a gold vest and is in full heel mode. Hollywood Rock insults the crowd and tells them not to go along with his catchphrases. He explains how the fans dropped the ball in the biggest match ever for Cody Rhodes, who doesn't even deserve a rematch. If you smell what he's cooking, to close the show. And that is the SmackDown 60-second or less review. All right, I'll let you start so I can cough now.
Yeah, go for it. All right. I want to talk about The Rock. And I mean, I think that's the one thing that really was the big takeaway on SmackDown that we were waiting for all week long was The Rock and Roman together for the first time on SmackDown since the press event. And, you know, I'm going to be honest. I liked The Rock's promo. I thought The Rock's promo was good. I know there were a few people that said that they didn't care for it, or that, you know, it's not 2003 anymore with their catchphrases, and his shtick is getting old in 2024. And whether that be that as it may, that's fine. I liked the promo. I thought it served its purpose. He got heat. He got people booing him. He went at the Utah crowd. He talked about Michael Jordan and brought up the 49ers taking their losses like men. And, you know, it was a solid promo. I didn't like the segment though. That's the thing. I liked the promo, but I didn't like the segment. I feel like there should have been more. You know, the SmackDown before, Triple H was out there dogging The Rock, saying that there's people here who don't know their role and they want me to fix things, but it doesn't matter what they think. Clearly alluding to The Rock. I mean, that brought the press event brought Triple H back to do an in-ring promo with Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce by his side. And then this week on SmackDown, there's no Triple H anywhere in sight. There's no The Rock doesn't even mention Triple H in his comments. He doesn't mention. All he talks about is Cody Rhodes. Like, I feel like there should have they even teased with Paul Heyman the week before that we're gonna have The Rock and Roman on SmackDown, and Triple H was like, "Oh well, I'm looking forward to it," and that's what they gave us. And I texted you shortly after the thing, and you said, "Yeah, it looks like they ran out of time," and that's another issue that I had with it too, because you could tell that The Rock was like he was rushing to get through the promo because they were under time constraints, and that the WWE does that a lot, and it drives me bonkers. And I hate to criticize the WWE's production, but and we love Dominik Mysterio, we love Logan Paul on this show, but did their matches need to go 2 or 3 commercial breaks long? I didn't think so. And because everybody was waiting on pins and needles to see, like, that's why everybody was there, was to see The Rock. That was the main attraction. And you give them 9 minutes of, I think they gave them like 18 minutes, but 9 of them were intros for both Roman and The Rock, and they take forever. So they really only had like 9 minutes of promo time. And so the promo was good. I dug it. I like Hollywood Rock. I like heel Rock. I'm excited to see where this goes. But the segment itself just was a miss for me, because he did the Bloodline thing. If you smell what the Bloodline is cooking, and then it just ends, and that's it. He throws the L up. I guess that was another thing. Everybody was up in arms. Was he didn't throw the 1 up? He threw an L up. He joined the Bullet Club Gold apparently, but
I didn't even get that.
Yeah, he joined Jay White's crew, but no, I liked the promo, just didn't care for the segment.
Well, so a lot to dissect there. Number one, I compared people up, so. Right? I know, yeah, I did. So I almost just like, if you're just gonna see me like disappear, then I'll like wake up later on. So I compared people not liking his promo to the people that I have in my life that are of the younger generation. So people in their mid-20s to early 30s, right? These people don't understand old culture, right? Like, so I have people who watch Friends and they think it's like the worst show ever, that it's demeaning to women, demeaning to, certain races and this, and it's offensive. And I just finally got a couple coworkers who were like 20 something years old into How I Met Your Mother. And they watched about 3 episodes and said, I can't do this show. This Barney Stinson guy is like the most disgusting human being ever. And I just sit there and I go, well, holy cow, don't watch The Office, because then your head's going to legitimately explode. Yeah. And I think that, like, at least these people have an excuse, right? Because they're raised in this new, era where I support. I'm not against it. But also at the same time, if it's not meant to hurt or to bring down a culture or a gender or whatever, they're just jokes, right? And it was in a time when this stuff was a little bit more acceptable, but nothing's anti-women. They're not like Friends and How I Met Your Mother are like, women don't deserve rights, we need to bring them down, or African Americans don't deserve to vote, or
yeah.
And it's not real, but nonetheless, the tone isn't to bring down anybody. They're jokes, right? At a time where these jokes were acceptable. Now, what differs from that point is that The Rock, if you like The Rock currently, and all these younger people did, right? They enjoyed The Rock. How do you enjoy The Rock? As that Rock. So that's what I'm confused about, people crapping on his promo, is that what were you hoping to gain? Did you want like a new 2024 Rock where he was going to be like, I don't know, like, hey, you guys in Utah, your basketball team stinks, huh?
Yeah.
All right. And all you people out there are kind of cool. Like, no, you want the freaking Rock. I want The Rock telling me to go have babies with my own sister, and that Mormons are alive and well, and they're gonna have 75 wives, and that they were the biggest white trash redneck audience in the history. Yeah. That is hilarious stuff. This is like, and most of these people laughed at it, and then they saw other people offended by it. So then they're like, I'm offended too. You're not offended, bro. You thought it's hilarious. So let's move. It was hilarious. The Utah Jazz joke and the Chiefs joke. Not only was that a joke about rematches that were unsuccessful. Hint, hint. He said it without saying it. The 49ers and the Chiefs had a rematch. The team that lost the first time lost the second time. The Jazz and the Bulls had a rematch. The team that lost the first time lost the second time. Hello, Cody Rhodes and Roman have a rematch. The person who lost the first time is going to lose the second time. Brilliant stuff. The promo being too short. Yeah.
It threw me off. The sports reference.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That is that outdated too. And then with that said, the promo I get not being long enough, but I don't think this was meant to be another drawn out Rock and Roman. I think this was literally for one purpose and what they served. It could have gone longer, yes, but I think they still served it. Roman's still in charge. He came out first. He announced the Rock in his bloodline. He didn't say we're all like one. No, you're in my bloodline. He came out, and then heel Rock was alive and well, basically saying that's where he's going for. The funny part is, out of all of this, the only thing that I took from it is that The Rock is going to swerve and cost Roman Reigns the title. Everything. And I'm not even talking about the L or the comment. Just the way he delivered this promo was like 100% telling me that he's costing Roman Reigns the match at WrestleMania. He should have just came out and said it. I don't know if I'm the only one who noticed that, but I mean, it felt like he was basically writing it on the wall without even he's basically saying Cody's going to win. I'm going to help. Me and Roman are wrestling at 41, sign and deliver. That's all I heard. Yeah. And I think it was always the plan. There was never a pivot. I feel like all of this was put into place for that reason, to sway people, to make them think Cody's going to win and, or lose or whatever else. And Roman and Rock at 41. It's obvious.
There were people talking about that because The Rock's body language, and there's a camera shot on X when The Rock Roman's not looking at him. He's looking at the crowd, and Paul Heyman looks a little petrified, but The Rock is pointing at Roman, but he's talking about Cody, basically saying, Cody Rhodes, you're going to walk in of WrestleMania a loser. You're going to walk out of WrestleMania as a loser, but he's doing it. He's it looks like he's pointing directly at Roman, as in I'm talking to you. So there were a few takeaways there. So I could see it. I hope that's not the case though. I want to see this kind of drag out. I want to see him ultimately cost Roman the championship, just not at WrestleMania, maybe later on this year, because I think
it's happening.
Because then we have a year build, and I don't know if that Rock and Roman can be carried for a year, especially if Roman doesn't have the belt.
But they don't have to do a year build because they can both disappear on TV for 6 months, show back up at SummerSlam, and then start the build there. It's happening, bro, whether you like it. Cody is winning, and The Rock is turning on him. It's going to be a Stone Cold, Steve Austin, Mike Tyson, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 14 moment all over again. It just is what it is. I think Cody needs a win in himself. But the only thing about this SmackDown, which you were talking about it being short, which upset me because this whole SmackDown was basically based on this moment. Everything else was basically filler for the Chamber. And one thing I want to talk about when we get into Raw is lack of Seth Rollins, period. Why do they have what do they have? 3 Elimination Chamber qualifying matches for the men, or 2 or something? No mention of Seth, no nothing. Seth is on Raw, no mention of the Chamber, still wanting to be Cody Rhodes' boyfriend. I just don't like it. And I don't see a Seth swerve. And if the Seth swerve isn't happening, why would a world champion lower himself? And I know I've already said this, but lower himself to wanting to help another champion defeat Roman. You should want to do that yourself. Why would you want somebody else to do it for you? You would want to do that. That's the hello. If you're not going to do that, then you would want to worry about the 6 competitors in the Elimination Chamber and starting that. Drew's not even talking about Seth anymore. He's feuding with other people.
It's feuding with Cody.
Yeah. We'll talk about that on Raw, but just in the SmackDown sense of it, man, it was all about Rock and Roman, but there were Chamber things and nothing brought up whatsoever. And I know you can say that with Rhea, but at least Rhea talked about it on Raw. I mean, Seth hasn't. It seems like he doesn't even care. Is he the champ? I don't know. I think this is really shitty booking on Seth right now.
And he's not doing that championship any favors, because Roman's buried it 2 weeks in a row. He buried it at the press conference. He buried it the week before on SmackDown. And Seth really hasn't come out and said, no, dog, this is the workhorse championship, and here's why. Here's why this championship is important. Here, he did that with Cody the day after Cody won the Rumble, but that feels like forever ago now. A lot has changed since then, and he's in right now, and it has nothing to do with Seth not being in the ring or wrestling. He just doesn't have a presence, and it's sad to see. And one of these Elimination Chamber qualifying matches that I want to talk about before we move on is I want to talk Dirty Dom and KO because
Let's do it.
I think, and I love Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens is great, and I have no doubt that he's going to do fantastic things in this Elimination Chamber. But I think it's a huge mistake to not have Dominik Mysterio in the men's Elimination Chamber match. You're going to have a hot, loud, vocal crowd in Australia. They are going to be super pumped to be there, and they are going to be a fantastic crowd that's going to be chanting everything from start to finish. And you imagine the heat that Dominik Mysterio could give that men's chamber match with him in it. Imagine if he enters at number 6, or he's the last one to come in, and he's staring down Bobby Lashley, or he's staring down LA Knight. Just the heat that he would bring to the match. And I think he deserves it. He's gotten so much better in the ring over the last year that I'm not saying he needs to win it, but I think it's a missed opportunity to not have him in it. And I think if you're going to be looking at breaking up the Judgment Day in the future, you got to look at potential life after Judgment Day for Dirty Dom. And there's been rumors that maybe a Logan Paul Dirty Dom tag team match tag team pairing could be in the future for both of those guys. And who's in the men's chamber match? Logan Paul. Who could have been in the men's chamber match? Dominik Mysterio. You could kind of see how they are with their chemistry. You could see how maybe both of them team up and they're taking out LA Knight, or they're taking on Bobby Lashley. And just the heat that they could get, I think it could have worked. It could have been a good pairing in the future and for preparing for life after Judgment Day for Dirty Dom. But I think it's a big mistake not having him in the men's chamber match.
Yeah, I agree. And not just that, but Dirty Dom has just gotten so darn good in the ring. He is levels above now, other than his 619 that needs to be squashed. I don't know.
That was not,
looks like a pillow heat, but it's always like, we don't all have good moves, right? I mean, it is what it is. That pillow little hit that he does is like,
I think he's like trying to be careful. So it comes across looking a little too safe. But
yeah, it's like Gunther's splash. He keeps doing a splash. Gunther's literally the perfect wrestler right now, but he does a splash and he needs to stop. He literally like lands on his knees. He doesn't even come close to it. Looks awful. Sometimes you just got to rewatch your tape and be like, I need to stop doing that. But I don't understand why either, because I know we've gotten away from the mommy and Dirty Dom thing, which they shouldn't have. They need to go back to it. And what a push this would have been leading up to the fact of them just both trying to, one to defend, one to win, the matching title, the heat, the mommy hell. I mean, it could have just been another good story as well. And Dirty Dom deserves that shine. KO has that shine. What is he going to do in this? This chamber match is basically giving Drew his flowers and probably starting the LA Knight Logan Paul feud at Mania.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's going to do nothing. So everybody else was irrelevant. And I don't know. I agree. I think Dirty Dom should have been in here. And now he's probably going to have nothing. He's probably going to walk mommy out at Mania.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping he walks mommy out and maybe cuts a promo or something. And, because Rhea's going to get a huge pop. So that's always one of my favorites, when Rhea gets a huge pop, but Dom, she's supposed to be the heel, but Dominik's going to get the heel heat because, it's an unusual situation. Usually they're both getting the heat, or you don't really see one getting the praise and one getting the heat. But I do think that, they missed an opportunity not having Dom in this match.
I agree, man. Him walking her out and talking and having him get booed and then her get cheered would be insane. They're not going to do it, but that would be insane. And that match better close. All right, let's get into Raw. You ready?
Yes.
All right, the Monday Night Raw 60-second or less recap. Here we go. The show opens with Drew McIntyre defeating Cody Rhodes with the help from the Bloodline. Andrade had as a video package. Cody Rhodes is in medical, and Seth Rollins walks in and taps him on his thigh. Raquel Rodriguez wins a battle royal to advance to the chamber. Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley have a split-screen promo, and it's intense. R-Truth has an outside interview where he tells about his love for the Judgment Day. It's funny. For some reason, Michael Chandler is there, and he cuts a bug. The Judgment Day defeat DIY and Truth in a 6-man tag. Sami Zayn wants to hit pause on the Drew McIntyre feud, and he is focused on WrestleMania. Becky Lynch cuts a promo on Rhea Ripley. Every competitor in the chamber cuts her off at different times, and Nia Jax comes in to destroy them all, standing tall. Chad Gable gets a win. Is he back? ? In the main event, Gunther defeats Jey Uso with the help from Jimmy Uso, who beats him down after the match to set up WrestleMania to close the show. And that's the Monday Night Raw 60-second or less. Sorry, Still sick. I'm getting.
It's all right. All right. Yeah. Let's talk the.
Where to begin, huh?
Yeah. There's a lot to. Let's
That
talk.
Raw was fire.
Yeah. The Raw was good. There was the one thing I didn't like was the UFC thing, and
I agree.
I don't. This isn't what I wanted. And I know you made a TikTok about this earlier, but I tweeted about it on our X account earlier in the week too when it happened. But I don't want to see this every week. You know, I don't want to. Now it's gonna get to a point where we're gonna get Conor McGregor's response to Michael Chandler, and it's gonna take 15 minutes on a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night SmackDown. Then it's gonna be, LA Knight accidentally bumps into Conor McGregor backstage and they're having a stare down. Is that teasing a future, crossover? Like, I want them to be separate. And I know that's wishful thinking because of the TKO ownership and everything. But I mean, I thought Michael Chandler held his own. It was a good promo. It was fine. But at the same time, we didn't need it. We didn't need it.
I'm assuming it's only going to happen in Anaheim because they just made a deal. What's up, my hometown? That they are going to do like 3 fights a year each in Anaheim. That's like an exclusive deal now at the Honda Center, or as I like to call it, the Pond. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
Keep the wrestlers out of UFCs talking. Keep the UFC fighters out of talking on WWE events. If you want to co-promote, promote during a commercial break. Hey, This Saturday, UFC 299. We have this match coming up. UFC 300's in July. You better no, it's not in July, but you know what I mean? Like, promote it that way. Don't promote it in the sense of having them on your screen. If you need to co-promote because you're the same company, so be it. Have them but these are 2 different sports. It is.
Yeah.
And 100%. Co-branding is stupid. And it's going to make people think the UFC is scripted. And that's not what you want to do. So, and I also think the UFC is a dying ship. I like I said, I watch MMA as much as more than anyone. UFC 300 is a joke. The card is a joke. UFC 298 was a joke. 299 is looking like it's good, but they just don't have main stars anymore. This is their way, I think, of trying to get some hype because the WWE is the hottest thing going on in everything today. So I think they're just trying to feed off of it, and I get that, but keep Michael Chandler off my screen. And I have nothing against Michael Chandler. I'm a huge Conor McGregor fan. Just keep them off my screen on wrestling, please.
Yeah, agree. I 100%. I think that if you want to show them on camera, if they're in attendance in the arena, that's fine. Let them wave. I don't want this to turn into Kathy Kelly's caught up with Conor McGregor for his response on Michael Chandler on Raw. I don't want that to be a thing. I don't want this to be an all the time thing where they're cross promoting. They're going to be going to Saudi soon, and UFC's been in Saudi before, and they're going to probably cross promote there. I just don't want to see it. I just don't. And I'm not a UFC guy, so I was like, who the heck is this guy that's talking? It's like, again, we talk about AEW. Why should I care about Michael Chandler? Like at least tell me who he is.
I mean, you shouldn't. That's the problem. And I think they assumed everybody knew who he was. What do you want to start out? You want to start off with Drew McIntyre beating Cody? I mean, that was pretty.
Yeah. I mean, that's only Cody's second time taking a pinfall in the 2 years that he's been back in the WWE, and his third loss overall in singles match, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, the match itself, I mean, I loved all of it. I love the story. I love the match. I thought the match was fantastic. Drew McIntyre, man, he is on another level right now.
He really is.
I loved the fact that Drew looked conflicted, but because he's been bitching and complaining about the bloodline, costing him everything. But then when they go and cost Cody, he takes advantage of it. I mean, it's just, it's good storytelling. And I loved all of it. Even at the end, in the backstage, he did an interview and said, did I want their help? No. Did I ask for their help? No, but you're damn sure I'm going to take it. And I mean, it's perfect stuff. And I liked it. I thought it was the right way. And it does make me wonder too, was this also foreshadowing to WrestleMania? Because the last 2 times Solo Sikoa has done the Samoan spike to Cody Rhodes, he's been pinned. It happened at WrestleMania when Roman then speared him and then pinned him, and it happened against Drew McIntyre. So now, does that mean he's going to kick out of this at WrestleMania, and it's going to be the oh shit moment, and then that's going to be the end of Roman's championship reign? So there's a lot of foreshadowing elements there. There's a lot of cool storytelling moments. So I like the whole it was a solid way to open the show for sure.
Well, 100%. And when they were wrestling, I was saying how weird I thought it was because what is it going to end in a DQ? This was the best possible scenario. But there were, the good, Drew won. He needed it.
Yeah.
The good, Cody Rhodes losing because through that Samoa spike. I said it, I think last week or the week before, is that for Cody Rhodes to get fully over, he needs to be able to overcome the bloodline, but he has to do it alone. And what I meant by that is that he has to do it in a way that you can't just have a rematch and then just have the same scenarios happen or him just winning or I want to see the Samoan spike happen. Boom. Now it's happened. I want to see interference in his match. Boom. I want to see him struggle with everything that cost him his match last year. So that way he can overcome it all. Even if The Rock helps him win, so be it. But it needs to have all that stuff overcome and then something different happen. And I'm all for it. And that will make Cody the star that he truly is. Because no matter how many, Cody crybabies there are out there in the world and people this and that, we want Cody. He still isn't that. He ain't Roman Reigns. I'm sorry to break it to people. He ain't that guy. And for WWE to want to pull the belt off of him, they have to know Cody's ready. So they got to get him there if they're going to get him there in April. So this is a very, very good way. The bad, once again, you have all this good. Where the hell was Seth Rollins? You had Seth Rollins give him a little circle jerk in the medical room, but you're not going to have him say anything to Drew. Obviously, Drew, this is probably the most predictable Elimination Chamber of all time. But here's the point. It doesn't matter because it's still leading to where we want it to go. And we're kind of interested in what happens all in the betweens, right? So why is Seth not bumping into Drew backstage? Why is Seth not why
didn't he help Cody?
I'm just,
well,
no. Well, the circle jerk was helping him.
Yeah.
He was doing the little rubby rub.
But still, he didn't help him. He didn't help him during, like, when Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso were out there.
Because Cody told him not to, right? Wasn't that the whole rub? Because it's like, I told you need me. But no, like, bro, you're going to get destroyed at WrestleMania because, once again, maybe Seth is going to turn on Cody. Maybe when Seth gets beat by Drew McIntyre at Mania, he then takes it out on Cody and says, I put all my time into you and I lost my belt and I was unfocused. Maybe that's where they're going. If they're going that route, and I just created that right now, let's see if that's real or not. Take that world. But if that's what's happening, I'm all for Seth not giving two rats about his title. But if it's not happening, this is stupid. The fact that I feel like all the competitors should be offended.
Yeah,
like Seth, you're not worried about me. You're not worried about Bobby Lashley and LA Knight, like, right?
Kevin Owens,
It's bizarre.
Logan Paul, the guy that's been a thorn in your side. I completely agree. I've talked about this before, but it just feels like nobody, the wrestlers themselves care about. Nobody cares about the Elimination Chamber this year, and it's unfortunate because I think. I think that the card looks solid. Don't get me wrong, and I think
it's gonna be good.
The show's going to be a banger. But it looks like, Cody's looking ahead to Mania, and the WWE was even looking ahead to WrestleMania. That's why they had the press event before the Elimination Chamber to announce the main event of WrestleMania. And then, Seth Rollins is looking at what Cody Rhodes is doing at WrestleMania. It just feels like they don't care. And maybe it's because neither one of the chamber matches are for the actual championship or what? Because before they've had them for the title, and I think people are more invested when that happens. But I don't know. This just feels, I don't know what they're doing with Seth, but that was a huge miss in my opinion.
I agree. All right, let's talk about your boy Chad Gable. I know you've been preaching. I know when this happened, now you're all thinking Chad Gable's facing Gunther at Mania. Just let it out. Just let it out. They brought him back from nowhere. Let's hear it. Let's hear your spiel.
He beat Ivar. That's a win. They treated it like it was an upset. I knew it was coming from a mile away. But the thing is they gave him the jobber entrance, which I didn't understand. They brought Ivar out with a full intro. Chad Gable's already in the ring, and I'm like, what the heck?
I thought that was weird.
Yeah, and then he wins. I'm like, okay, so why didn't you do it the other way around? But
he had a promo about, like, what was his promo about, like, coming back because he was off TV.
Yeah, he's been off TV. Yeah, it was good. And then, the ending with the main event of Jey Uso not winning the Intercontinental Championship against Gunther, which, I got to say, I thought that match was good. I thought Gunther looked good. It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't Jey Uso's best match. All he did was, You talk about John Cena doing like the 5 moves of doom. All Jey Uso did was spear him. Like every move was a spear. He speared him like 5 times. And, I get it, right? Like you got to do what works. But I don't know. I felt like he was missing something in his arsenal because it just felt, there's Jey Uso, super kick and a spear.
Yeah.
That's all he did. And I was just like, this man he's one of the most decorated tag teams of all time. He's phenomenal in the ring. But in this match, and again, you got to wrestle to your competition. And Gunther is, he's a different animal in the ring. But
he's also been wrestling half matches for like 15 years. I think he just needs to kind of figure out his solo move set, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? To fill a whole match. But continue.
Yeah. But the stars are aligning. Gunther retains. He doesn't look like he has a clear direction for WrestleMania right now. Braun Breaker, who everyone thought was going to, we didn't talk about this, but everyone thought was going to come to Monday Night Raw and compete and take the Brock Lesnar spot at WrestleMania against Gunther. He signed a SmackDown on Friday, and they announced it with Nick Aldis. So maybe he's not going to do it. Chad Gable got a big victory on Monday. The stars are aligning for Chad Gable to finally finish his story at WrestleMania, and I'm here for it.
I agree.
Unless I'm completely wrong.
I mean, the way they were hyping him up and what he was saying, like his verbiage, it seems like it's going to, like, that's what they're hinting at. That makes sense, but they can't have him lose again. I mean, if you want to get Gable over, have him beating the biggest star right now, basically one of at least top 3 biggest stars in the world today. That's a win, man. That's a moment, and I like it. I like it a lot. So we'll see. Jimmy and Jay, I didn't think they were ready for Mania. Obviously, they're bringing us to that. I don't know if that's kind of to distract Jimmy away from the Bloodline storyline a little bit. Maybe he is kind of the joke, the runt of the bunch. But
he didn't look like one on Monday.
No, they made him look good, but I don't see him beating Jay. They gotta do a little bit more. They got some time though. We need to build him up as a threat a little bit more because Jay at least is getting over. The fans are for him. He wrestles big names. Jimmy's kind of just like there and doesn't even get high five by his own brother when he does something good. So I don't know.
He got hugged by Roman on
that was rant, and I just like seeing Jimmy afterwards. It was hilarious. He was like, "Yippee!" He was just like a little kid. Like
the thing that was weird. The thing that was weird to me, and I know we're going back to SmackDown, but when Roman hugged him, he then said, "Let's go fix what Jay broke," or "Let's go." And it's like, wait. At first, I was like, "Wait, what did he say?" I thought he said what they broke, and then I was like, "No, he clearly said Jay." But what?
Now they added Roman because they like broke up their duo. You know what I mean? Like the 4 of them. So I think Rock was supposed to be filling in for Jay. So they because then that would Roman kind of alluded at that now we're bigger than we ever were because we lost Jay, but now we gained the freaking Rock. So,
that makes sense. But when he said it, I was like, wait, like what does Jay have to do with all? Like Jay's not the one that booked the match at WrestleMania against Cody. That was Triple H, and that was Cody, and it was weird. But so I think they're doing what they can to make Jimmy look good. But I think he looked really good on Monday, and they got to keep him looking good on the road to WrestleMania for sure.
I agree, and I don't know why R-Truth is back with Judgment Day again. Why did he wrestle in a Judgment Day shirt? Can you explain? I don't.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, clearly it's setting up for Miz and Truth to take on the Judgment Day at WrestleMania,
and win probably. But
like I don't I mean, his little thing was funny, and like where he talked about he hasn't cried this much since the ending of This Is Us, and
that was a good line.
You know, it was a good line. But here's the thing for me too that bugged me. Did you know that at Elimination Chamber, it's Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne are wrestling for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships? Because you would have never known watching Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or the week before on Monday Night Raw, because they've been in feuds with DIY, who lost to Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
That was
like I get R-Truth, you know the whole Triple H and Shawn Michaels thing with DX and DIY and ha. But I feel like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are just there, and they're not even involved in this storyline that's involved with Johnny Gargano and Ciampa. So that's
I agree.
Some questionable booking right there in my opinion.
Like I said, Elimination Chamber should be our easiest predictions ever. All right, let's get into NXT. You ready?
Yes.
Sorry, should have muted that. All right, this is actually long because so much stuff happened. I try to fit it all in this time, so bear with me. They have so many backstage promos. Like
Yeah,
NXT
they have
is
a
like
lot.
backstage promo heavy. It's nonstop. All right, NXT 2-hour or less recap. Here we go. The show opens with Oba defeating Lexus King to defend his North American title in a squash. Thea Hale got bad dating advice from JC Jane. Lyra and Paxley talk backstage. The Wolf Dogs cut a promo in the ring and brag about being champs. Chase U interrupts and so does Frazier and Axiom, who will face off tonight to see who is next. Roxanne Perez wants what she deserves and is sick of people passing her up. She then defeats Ren Sinclair in a match. The Metaphor are confronted by the NQCC, and they say Dar will find out who faces him in the ring when they have their match. Josh Briggs defeats Brooks Jensen in a match that probably should have felt more important. Joe Gacy is still in a straitjacket and is now being held hostage by Dijak, I think. Some guy comes in, tells him it's illegal. No idea why he was there. I honestly don't know what's happening. I just know that he has to put the lotion on the skin or else he gets the hose again. Mello has a segment from his barbershop and explains why he turned on Trick. It's good stuff. And basically, Trick wanted his spot, man. So when you want someone's spot, you got to get there first.
You got to hold him down.
JCJ, yep, 100%. JCJ defeats Ariana Grace, who's actually super gorgeous. And then it's conflicted because JC wanted her to, Thea is conflicted because JC wanted her to cheat. Tony D is ready to stop messing around and be the true Dawn of NXT. Rich Holland talks. Chase U defeats Axiom and Frazier to become the number one contenders. And then out of nowhere, they get jumped by the OC, who are there to stay. Dragunov warns Mello that he will take his soul at Roadblock. Lash Legend defeats Kiana Jordan. Shotzi gets legit injured in the main event against Lyra, who then faces Lash Legend, who Lyra then defeats to close the show. Holy cow, that was the NXT recap with me messing up a few, but there was just so much going on.
Yeah.
It was like jumble.
NXT is a marathon, man. There's a lot that goes into that 2-hour stretch.
Like, true.
Yeah.
Being sick doesn't help either. My voice is going to be like gone. I mean, there's a lot to go with. I mean, where we can talk. Do you want to, I got to give props to the main event. Do you want to start? I don't know if you wanted to start there.
Yeah, we can. Sure.
But I mean, we can get into AEW because a situation like this happened twice in AEW, and both times they didn't care less to stop the match. This girl takes an ACL tear. You can see her pointing and saying, like, heck no, I'm not going to go. And they cut to a commercial break. Probably wasn't planned. Perfect commercial break to give themselves time to figure it out. Lash Legend had just wrestled. She was probably fresh, still sweaty. And they were just like, yo, girl, you're going to come out. Is that cool? And those two girls, her and Lyra, had to straight wing it and have a match because there was still like 10 minutes left. What were they going to do? That's good on HBK. That's good on the production team. That's good on Lyra and Lash Legend. And I hope they repay Lash Legend. It's kind of like, we said not to compare, but MMA. They get a guy who gets injured and someone steps up to fight on short notice. They're probably going to lose, right? And when they fight that match, they should at least be promised, hey, you win another one, you're next up no matter what. We owe you, right? Poor Lash Legend, because everybody's been wanting her to fight for the title. That was her opportunity. I did think it was funny, though, that the announcers did say that Lyra overcame the odds. She had already wrestled. Yeah. I know Lash Legend wrestled, but she was the fresher of the two at that moment, got to jump in midway and still lost. I think it makes Lash Legend look bad. But in all real sense, I mean, was that not like quick good for them to like get over that.
That could have been disastrous. And they made it work. They fixed it. It was a solid effort from them, and it was a decent main event. And I also like the reaction too from Roxanne Perez when she destroyed the TV backstage because Lash Legend, skipped her skipped her spot in line.
Again. And it was worked in the storyline. Yeah.
I was like, this is perfect. Like take something completely unplanned. And you think of this on the fly with 10 minutes to go, and really during a commercial break. And
they had like what, 2 minutes, maybe
3 minutes total to think of this. And it all worked out perfectly. And that's a testament to the WWE. That's a testament to the performers. And so they deserve, all of them deserve respect, and Shotzi deserves, well wishes on her recovery with the torn ACL, because that's,
I told you, she's too skinny, man. I told you, man. She's just so like, she needs to get some muscle up just a little bit. I feel like she just lands hard anywhere. She's gonna break her whole body. She's made of bone and a bone only. Poor girl. Poor girl. But, she needs it. But hey, poor Ava, right? That girl cannot talk.
Oh yeah.
She came out and was like, I
promised legend. You a match. Yeah.
It's really, they need to get William Regal out here and help her. Sorry, go ahead. I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I think it was a good main event, and it sets up for Roadblock with Perez and Lyra Valkyria. So it should be a good match. And shout out to all the performers and the backstage crew who pulled that off with 5 minutes to spare. So kudos to them.
Heck yeah. All right. I know you want to talk about it. Let's talk about some Carmelo. Is that what you want to talk about next?
Yeah. Carmelo. I mean, this man, he's phenomenal. He's incredible as a heel. It's leading. I mean, it's Wrestling 101. Trick Williams is going to come back at Roadblock and cost Carmelo the match against Dragunov, and 100%. It's going to lead to their match at Stand and Deliver. But I don't care. This is all fantastic stuff.
Yep.
His promo with, I'm glad that they brought back the barbershop. I've been kind of wondering, like, are they going to do that ever again? And it was, I'm happy that they're doing it. And I hope it continues. I hope that that's where he does more of his pre-taped, backstage vignettes or whatever, his segments and stuff, is at that barbershop where, he became who he is. He became him, and Trick Williams was his sidekick and was the number 2. He said you could have been number 4, you could have been number 3, you could have even been number 2, but you ain't going to be number 1. And
awesome
it was awesome stuff. Carmelo Hayes is a stud, and I'm here for it.
It was well done. All of that was, I mean, just the reasoning too makes sense. It just does. It all fit in perfectly.
Got too big for his britches, and now he's got to.
The stories are good.
Yeah, NXT's killing it right now, and we have the Wolf Dogs too doing their thing. They might be moving to SmackDown because Braun Breaker's on SmackDown. So,
not Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I know, that's a weird dynamic. And then they
didn't bring up SmackDown either.
No, I know. And they there's rumors that they're going to change their that they might bring Baron Corbin to SmackDown, and they might change their tag team name from the Wolf Dogs to like the Spear Gang or the Spear something. Can't remember what
Wolf Dogs is good. No.
Yeah, but I think NXT is the perfect landing spot for Karl Anderson and Luke Gallows as well. I think they were kind of the Baron Corbin on the main roster. They didn't really have a direction. They got beat up by AJ Styles. It looks like that whole partnership is done, and I think they can go to NXT and really revitalize themselves. And they need it, man, because I think they're good. They just don't have any direction right now. They don't have anything to do on the main roster, and I think they can flourish in NXT.
They're more NXT anyway than they are WWE. NXT is still different in the sense, more AEW than it is WWE. All right, let's bring up Too Bad really quick before we head on to our predictions, man, because can't always praise everybody. Lexus King, what the heck's the point of him? You have him doing all the stuff, being in people's faces, and he gets squashed by Oba in 10 seconds. And Joe Gacy, I don't understand. So was he trapped at NXT, or was he trapped at his because if he trapped him at NXT, it's not really illegal. I mean, isn't that on Shawn Michaels then and Triple H and them and
it's on the leadership
for allowing them to on the premises? Or was he, and who was this guy who comes in and tells him it's illegal? Obviously, but Joe Gacy's okay with I was lost. I'm like, what is happening right now? The fact that they pointed it out that it was illegal, I think made it worse, because sometimes you can step out of the realness with wrestling, right? I mean, we've seen people get buried alive. We've seen AEW and WWE have matches at people's mansions where they get murdered and thrown into streets or off bridges and so on. You could take the disbelief, right? But
NXT
has come in.
NXT killed 2 people.
Yeah,
they killed
pretty deadly.
Pretty deadly. Yeah, they threw him off a bridge.
Yeah. And Hulk Hogan once did a monster truck off a tower with the Giants and killed him, and then they were back later on that night. But the thing is, you can disbelieve things, right? But when you come in and basically tell me it's against the law, kind of takes me away from it. Am I missing either of these points?
No, I think you're. Yeah, Lexus King. I just don't think he's that guy. He wasn't. I think we kind of bash Tony Khan a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe not re-signing him was probably a wise decision. And I don't know if WWE is regretting their decision of bringing him on, or they're regretting bringing him on as Lexus King and not Brian Pillman Jr. or what. But yeah, I just don't think he's just not hitting. And his booking's a little questionable too, because he'll win a match and then he gets squashed, and then he'll win a match and then he loses, and then he's he's winning the North American Championship tournament finals and just to get squashed, and then he's in a random feud with Carmelo Hayes and he loses. It's just like, what is his role right now? I can't figure that out. And then the suspension of disbelief stuff. I don't need, we talk about this with AEW again, with the Young Bucks. We don't need them to tell us that, the show is scripted and the show is, is everything is pre-planned. We don't need NXT to have some police officer or whatever the heck he was telling us, hey, that's pretty illegal. Probably shouldn't do that. We don't need that. I think the segment would have been fine without that. I think it took away from the moment.
It did. It gave me very Silence of the Lamb vibes. Come on, he gets the lotion on the skin unless he gets the hose again. I mean, everybody knows that, right? Should have put him in a well, not in like a Stranger Things like glass case. But either way, it is what it is. But WWE was cooking. I'm excited for what's coming up this Saturday at 2 a.m. my time, 5 a.m. for most of y'all. And while you're setting up or getting ready for our music, just want to say once again, thank you all for always tuning in, subscribing to us, doing your darn thing. Also, we're an affiliate with Shop WWE. So if you want to buy, ever want to get shirts or anything like that, purchase it through us. Click on our link. That helps us out, helps our podcast going. Like I said, we're trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger. We feel like we're good enough. We're just not known enough. So get us known, y'all. Please.
That's right.
Get that in a shirt. And maybe we're going to start selling merch soon. I'm putting our producer to work right now. He's letting me down at the moment as our producer. I gotta give him the hose again, unless he's gonna. But yes, are you ready for our segment? Did I give you enough time?
Yeah, and just to kind of follow up on that, if you like this video and you want to see other stuff like it, subscribe. Last I checked before we went on the air today, we were at 698 subscribers on YouTube, so we're almost at the 700 mark. That's 300 closer to 1,000, and
we can get it by April, man. I think we can.
That's where we want to be. So keep on keeping on. Show us your love, support, and if you're listening to us on audio as well, leave us a 5-star rating and review there. And again, as always, thank you for the support.
I agree. Let's go.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'. Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're riding.